Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, I hope you're having a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. My name is Teresa and I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare. So on the weekends, I like to hang out with you guys and talk about the newest releases. And I've been very naughty. I haven't been around for the last 2 weekends. And as you can see, it looks like I've been dragged backwards through a bush. I am still recovering from conference trips and traveling, etc. And a very bad breakout of adult acne. So please do bear with. But I am glad to be back and in a routine. You guys have still been tagging me in things, so thank you so much. The general drill is there's so many releases. I frankly don't want to talk about all of them, so I only want to talk about the stuff that you guys find interesting. So to do that, you guys send me DMs, tag me in things, etc. Everyone who does that, your names are being displayed right now. I so appreciate it. As per usual, I also massively appreciate my fabulous YouTube community members, who I have to say I've been very, very terrible with, because it's been a while since I've done a live with you guys, and I also am very behind in terms of doing a giveaway because life has run away with me, from me. Who knows? The prepositions are very, very difficult. But we do have quite a few things to talk about, because essentially I'm trying to squash 3 weeks worth of stuff into one episode. But I will say thank you, makeup and cosmetics companies, because frankly, it's been wildly uninteresting while I've been away. But this is my reminder to you guys. Get yourself a beverage. I, of course, have tea. Look at my tea mug. Tea for Teresa, tea for tea. Who really knows? But we'll get straight on into it. The first thing I'm going to talk about isn't so much a new makeup announcement as it is an announcement of makeup in general. Shroud Cosmetics announced over on Instagram that they are no more. Now, this to me wasn't a wild surprise. It had a few issues over the last year or so in terms of fulfilling their orders. If you go over to Reddit, there were a few people who had ordered things and it hadn't arrived. And essentially the owner has finally decided, yeah, that's it, I'm done. Personally, I feel like it's so sad because they really hit a high at one point with their collaboration with Betty Jean, or Betty Jean, whoever you want to call her. And it just feels really, that they're going out on a bit of a low for them, but understandable. The other thing that is to be talked about is the fact that Kryptein Cosmetics, which is one of several brands really, but the first that I really noticed, that has said that they are ceasing trade and sales to the US. Now, I'm not wildly surprised about this because Kryptein Cosmetics primarily operates out of China. If you've been living under a rock, I hate to be the person that tells you this, but there has been a person in charge who doesn't understand economics, it seems, and has just been kind of going, tariffs for everyone, like a really terrible Oprah. Including some tariffs towards non-populated land, but let's not get into that. Anyways, Kryptein Cosmetics have said that's it, we're not trading there anymore. So a couple of people have kind of been going, oh my god, now's my time, I have to get it now. Let's not get into the FOMO of things. This is going to happen to a couple of cosmetics brands, and cosmetics in general is going to increase massively. Now, don't get me wrong, cosmetics, beauty, that's my special interest. I effing love it. But even I'm sitting here kind of being like, okay, this is going to affect me. This is going to affect my purchases. And already I'm trying to take more of a step back, and have been over the last number of months. And I want to take this opportunity to remind myself and you guys that as much as makeup and beauty is fun, it's fun, it's not a necessity. And the prices are going to increase. And I hate to be that person, but once they increase, they're never going to come down. They're not. Because once they figure out that you're willing to pay that much for that thing, it's going to stay that price. So for me, I'm kind of taking a look at stuff and just being a little bit more in my purchases of things. But yeah, it's a weird point for us in cosmetics, and I figured I would talk about that before we get into the actual releases. But the first release that I am talking about is Unearthly Cosmetics, and can I just say there is an unearthly amount of blushes in this week's episode. There's a lot of blushes over the last year or so, but anyway, this is Unearthly Cosmetics Incandescent Glowing Blush, which, by the way, fantastic word, incandescent. I like to be incandescent with rage. I've never been incandescent with blush, but there you go. There's 5 shades, they're €17.95 each. They say that these ultra blendable blushes deliver a soft focus finish that melts effortlessly into the skin, leaving behind a seamless lit from within glow. I mean, for me, that's kind of what I like, a blendable sort of a blush. It looks like it's creamy. I'm assuming it is, because I mean, when they're saying incandescent and ultra blendable and like melting into the skin, I'm assuming it's a cream. It kind of looked like it. Anyways, there's 5 shades. They're available now. There's Crush, which is a baby doll pink, Dusk, a natural coral, Blaze, a vibrant orange, Lumen, a bright coral pink, and Mystic, a neutral brown pink. I think they're really pretty, and I feel like the price isn't bad at all, like €17.95. I feel like Unearthly are probably, or maybe I'm just imagining things, but I feel like they've been taking on a lot of the critiques that they've received of late, which is that their stuff is very expensive. They've been doing a lot of pre-orders, etc. And this isn't a pre-order. This is like get it while it's hot kind of thing. And I personally appreciate it. Do I feel like these blushes are going to change the world? No. These are shades that if you look, go on, look through your blush collection, I guarantee you probably already have. Right? These are not new things. I think they're fine, and the price point isn't bad at all. This is one of those, and like I said, I'm an idiot. This is one of those things that if they had an arbitrary level of, we'll give you free shipping if you purchase X amount of products, that if I was shy of, we'll say $20, I'd pop that in. You know, that I'd be like, fuck it, I might as well, free shipping. I don't make good financial choices. But it's not bad. Like, I don't dislike it. I think it's a fairly solid sort of a release. And that's about as much as I have to say on that without rabbiting on. It's not bad. This next one, right? I looked at this and thought, have I not seen this already? Yeah, I have. This is Glaminatrix Cosmetics. This is their Nearly Natural palette. And you might be thinking, Teresa, did they not have a Nearly Natural palette? Yes, they did, my love. Well done. Well caught. This is their revamped version. So if you have the Nearly Natural, take a step back. You probably don't need this one. But this apparently includes 9 gorgeous sparkly shimmers, 1 baked eyeshadow. It's the shade Smolder, which is a new formula for them. I'd love to try that just because it's a new one. I like the idea of a baked eyeshadow. And 10 creamy pigmented mattes. It's apparently a pre-sale, which is opening Sunday, April 20th. So as you're watching, it will be available tomorrow because that's how time works. And it's going to be 85 Australian dollars or 53 US dollars. And don't get me wrong, I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's such a pretty palette. This is, as my gorgeous friend Wilma would say, a daywalker palette. And let's be real, nothing wrong with a bit of daywalker. But if you're obviously looking for drag, for artistry, for that wabam, this isn't going to be it. And that's all right, my babies. That's all right. There's a part of that looked like it was going to be really grungy, the bottom left-hand corner. You know, those shades Down to Earth and Essence. And yet it doesn't quite translate as much. Do you know what I find really interesting? They put over on Instagram like an April Fool's thing, which was like a turd palette. And I was like, lol. But actually all the shades in that, I was like, I would have worn this. And also, I don't hate the idea of having a poop palette. Because apparently I have the sense of humour of a 5-year-old. This is fine. I don't think this was needed. I get, you know, wanting to revamp things and trying out new formulas. But I feel like really coming out with a colour story that you've done already, not that long ago, like what, two years ago, is probably not wildly necessary. And particularly for a brand like Glaminatrix, they are a little bit pricier. I do enjoy them, and it's fantastic to have an Australian brand because for my gorgeous Australian friends, it's hard to get good indie brands there, right? It is like they're waiting for a million years. It's nuts. So I appreciate that, but also it's not that long ago that they did their cute little 6-pan palettes. There were 4 of them just before Christmas. So I kind of feel like this, it wasn't like a necessity. Do you know what I mean? Like this wasn't like, oh my God, we have to fit in some more sales. I don't know. It's fine. Because I have like the Nearly Natural, I think, anyways, or if I don't, I've thought about having it. That's wildly unhealthy. I know I don't need it. And initially I thought, and I was like, oh, because honestly, they're so good at marketing their stuff. They're like, oh, look at all the shinies. And I am a magpie. I am. And yes, I know I did just cut my fringe like 3 weeks ago and it's already like completely lost its mind. It's ridiculous how that grows. That's not the point. But I'm a magpie and I see sparkles and I go, oh, yes. But I'm really trying to catch myself and go, no, Teresa, come back from the ledge. We don't need this. And I think that's where I am with this. It's nice, but I definitely don't need it. The price tag is pretty okay. If you're in Australia, you haven't tried this before, and you haven't got anything from this brand, you don't have anything like this, I actually reckon you'll do pretty well with it, because I like their stuff. I like their formula. I've bought a few things from them, so I don't think it's bad, but I do not think it was a necessary release from them, if that makes sense. Hopefully. Now, they've been teasing this for a while. This is Wicked Widow Beauty, and this is their American Psycho collection. And they started off, in my opinion, really, really strong, because they'd shown their 3 bullet lipsticks, but they have now shown the whole kit and caboodle. It's launching Friday, April 18th at 12 p.m. EST. So as you're watching, it's already available. So there's 3 lipsticks, which I had talked about previously: Murder Psycho and Rockin' and a Rollin'. I have no prices yet because they haven't said it, because I'm filming this on a Wednesday, because I'm working on a Friday. Anyways, it's a whole thing. There's a blush palette which has 2 shades in it: Psycho Bloody Shimmer Oil, lip glosses in the shades Bloodlust and Raincoat, and then there's the pressed pigment palette for $66. But they have said you can use the code WICKED for $6 off, which would make it then $60. As I said, the lipsticks, I think they started off really, really strong. The packaging is just so good. It's minimal, but it's like exactly what you want. And even the shades, I can see the direct inspiration from the film, because obviously that's what they're referencing. I think that red is just fabulous. And metallic lipsticks have been having quite a bit of a comeback. Like Unearthly had a lot of metallic lipsticks recently that everyone was like, oh my god, this is so cool. I think this is dead on the money. That's a terrible one to say for this, but it's perfect for what we're looking at here. I assume it isn't going to be wildly expensive, because Wicked Widow, even though they are an indie brand, they have tried to keep down their prices quite a bit. So I can't see these bullets being more than $30, although honest to god, lads, with tariffs, who knows? Who knows? I may know later as I'm editing, who knows? But I feel like that was the really strong one. And then when we get to the blush palette, I always have issues with things like blush palettes, because you might like one shade and not the other, or you know, you've released something that may not be as inclusive for everybody as you might like. But I think this isn't actually too bad. Like the deep red, the Cillian Rail, that seems to kind of suit most of the skin tones. I've said this before. It's grand to swatch it out on the arm. I get it, you're trying to show the level of pigmentation, but I prefer to see it on the face. You know, like, is it going to be patchy? Is it going to blend? What's the story? And this isn't really so much 2 blushes as it is a blush and a blush highlighter thing, which is fine. It's no big issue, but I don't think this is a bad one. I just kind of personally prefer to have these things singular. I've been in the makeup game for long enough to know that I've tricked myself into buying things that weren't 100% correct. Unless I'm going to use every shade in a blush palette, I am really trying to get myself to step back from it. It's grand, but it's not for me. The lip glosses, I mean, I don't really know what the story is there. The packaging looks okay, but it looks like they'll be fairly transparent, like that you won't get a huge amount of colour in that. I mean, I say that, I could be completely wrong, but they haven't shown it on the lips yet. As I'm filming, they might have. If so, you'll see a picture, and if not, well, that's the brand's fault, not mine. Don't you dare blame me, blah blah blah. The body oil is where I'm a bit like, was this necessary? Because they have like red glittery stuff in it, and I'll be honest with you lads, it does not look great. Like, it looks a bit... Did anyone when they were a child play potions? Yeah? Where you just grab things from around the house, and sometimes from outside of the house, and just mix it all together to make a potion. That's what that looks like. It doesn't feel like it's very highbrow, you know, and I'm not saying it has to be highbrow, but like, I don't really understand the inspiration of it. And there's nothing that I can remember from American Psycho, and I will say it's been many years since I've watched it, that referenced something like body oil, so I don't get the connection there at all. Maybe that's just me. Then the eyeshadow palette was finally revealed, and as I said, they started off strong with those lipsticks, but I feel like when I'm looking at this palette, I can't see the connection between that and American Psycho. And again, maybe it might be me that I'm not as familiar with the film as others. Maybe there's like huge fans out there and they're like, yeah, they've got it, spot on, fantastic, in which case, don't heed me. What the F do I know? This reminds me a little bit more of like their Edward Scissorhands palette that they did maybe about 2 years ago. It feels a little bit disjointed, and I don't entirely understand extend it, you know? And I get that obviously they got the licensing for American Psycho. When you have a licensing like that, you want to make the most of it. Like that's quite the draw to have, but it just feels a little bit like, you know, you started strong and then this is, I mean, there's the phrase, you know, and I don't know if I can say it because I'll probably get demonetized, but whatever, I'm very tired. It feels like wank without a cum, and I've said that and it's out there. Don't you dare report me. But it does feel a bit like, huh. And now I'm rooting for Wicked Widow. Like, I like seeing an indie brand, very grassroots, doing their own thing, having their own vision. I just, for me, it doesn't hit. But that's fine. I mean, there's plenty of things that I've loved that other people have been like, what are you talking about? This just isn't for me. In all, there's definitely kind of higher parts of this collection that I feel just are tippity top, and then parts that I'm genuinely confused by, particularly that body oil. I'm assuming they're going to put this together as a total bundle. They haven't said anything about that at the moment, but I assume that they will. It's not bad. Like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. Like, I have seen much worse. It's not bad at all. I just, maybe because I've been watching Wicked Widow and I expect quite a bit from them, I've been noticing kind of where they're going and all the stuff that they've been doing, and it's just been really quite good over the last year or so. And I think maybe I might have had too high an expectation here, but also the issue with them dropping or drip feeding us stuff so early is that my brain went somewhere else. And now when I have seen the collection, it doesn't quite match what I thought. This can be the issue when a brand drip feeds something rather than just getting straight to it and showing you what it is. So in that sense, I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'd have had a different reaction if this had just been revealed and hadn't just been like, ooh, we've got American Psycho, because we've known that they've had American Psycho for, I want to say about 2 or 3 months, something like that. Like, it's been a while. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what it all looks like together, like a whole cohesive look with everything, you know, the lip glosses, etc. I could be completely wrong. It could look fantastic, but it isn't for me. And that's just how it is. Right, I feel like the world has slightly lost its mind because I normally love Moira Cosmetics. I love the general tone of their products. I love the price point. I feel like they do something really, really interesting. But this is a pet peeve of mine on 2 separate things, because this is their Stay Golden Cream Bronzer and Contour. Bronzer and contour are not the same. One adds warmth, one adds shadow. Okay, so that's my first pet peeve. The second is 10 shades. 10 shades, which when you see them swatched out, my friends, you're going to see what it is that I'm annoyed about. Anyways, they're €15.95 each. They're 3.8 grams of product, which isn't bad for the price point at all. They're vegan, cruelty-free, paraben-free, sulfate-free, phthalate-free, and gluten-free. And apparently there's coconut, mango, and rosehip oil infused in that, which is all meant to be hydrating, etc. And here's the thing. I love a cream product. I do. Right, my skin is textured AF. Now, I can't wear makeup at the moment because I've got like a really, well, it's calmed down quite a bit. I've had to go on antibiotics, but like my skin has gotten a really bad flare of adult acne. Thanks, genetics, really appreciate it. So I'm kind of sticking away from that, but my general kind of love is always towards cream products anyways. But this feels like a little bit of a swing and a miss, right? Because yeah, there's some that are definitely, like there's 1 or 2 shades that I'm like, yes, okay, I can see that that's a contour. And the rest are definitely, like there's 1 or 2 that are contour. Like, why have you said, it's not, bronzer and contour are not the same thing. Can we please stop with that? But I want to show you them swatched out. Do you see what I mean about saying 10 shades? That's a bit foolish, right? Because I feel like the deep, we needed at least 1 more extra deep one. And then there's quite a big jump from the 400C to the 450N. Now, it could be just that they're great and buildable and blendable and blah, blah, blah. But it just feels like it's quite the jump. And there's a few shades there that are in the middle that look quite similar. So I'm a bit like, The other issue that I have so many issues. I'm like a National Geographic at this point. Basically, my other issue is, as of today, when I was looking at it, I couldn't see any pictures of them with it on the skin. Now, they might have changed that, but I couldn't see anything on the face, blah, 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 as of filming. So I don't know how to conceptualize this, and maybe it does build up. Maybe it's fantastic at doing that. And I'm kind of trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, because normally Moira is fantastic at that sort of thing. But I just feel a bit like, oh, I expected better from you guys. I did. Like, it's grand. I don't need a cream bronzer. Obviously, I'm fine. My favourite one is Vive Cosmetics, and that's not running out anytime soon. So I'm grand. But yeah, I just, I feel like this just doesn't have the kind of range that we would need in a bronzer. I could be completely wrong, but I mean, to be fair, this is miles better than Benefit's recent offering. So, I mean, there is that. They're better than Benefit. To be fair though, Benefit have such a low bar when it comes to that. It took them forever to do like their hula light, who knows. I'm still very tired. But yeah, I kind of expected a little bit more from Moira. I love the fact that they have like these hydrating ingredients in the products. I think that's fantastic. You know, most people who are going for cream products, that's what they're looking for. So having that for that price point is really good. I'm just not convinced on the shade range as of yet, but I am totally fine with being proven wrong. We then have Pastel Roses, and I really want Pastel Roses to do well, right? Because I feel like they do really well in terms of their singles, but every time they do a palette, sometimes the colour story doesn't quite mesh. I feel like this is one of their strongest ones to date. This is their Sakura eyeshadow palette. You can get Pastel Roses over on their UK-based website, and this is £32 if you're in the UK. But if you're in the EU like myself, you're better off getting it on Etsy. It'll be €48.11 over there, so 'tis pricey. It's a 12 pan palette. There's 8 mattes and there's 4 radiant duochromes, so keep that in mind. I think it's quite pretty. I do appreciate the fact that they've actually given some swatches here. I do feel like there's a decent coherence here. Now, when I'm looking at it, there's maybe 1 or 2 shades that I wouldn't have quite included, like the shade Allure. I personally don't 100% understand that. I think maybe if they'd had more of like a deep green or something in there to kind of tie in the Sakura a little bit more, it's not bad. I do feel like this is their strongest palette offering to date, for sure. €48.11 for a 12 pan palette of Pastel Roses, I actually feel is not bad at all. Obviously, it's better if you're in the UK, it's £32. But I mean, we have Brexit and tariffs and all of the fabulous things that are now in our lives. There's part of me that when I look at this, it reminds me, and my old school friends will know what I'm talking about here, Lowest Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld. It reminds me a little bit of that. There's aspects that just kind of links in here with that. So for that reason alone, I wouldn't be getting it, because I still have my Meet Me in the Underworld. It's not going anywhere. I love it very, very dearly, but I think this is quite strong, and I'm really glad to see Pastel Roses doing their own thing, and they keep coming back to palettes and doing their own offering for this. I also feel like this is the best kind of swatches that they've done, because normally they watermark them and they're so hard to get any sort of like decent pictures of. But this, I feel like most people can make a very informed decision as to whether or not they want to purchase this. So actually, I think it's pretty good. I like it, but as I said, I feel like I have stuff in my collection that's similar to this, so for the moment I will just be missing out on this, and that's all right. We then have Salem Cosmetics, and this is their Ghostly Glam palette. It's available right now for pre-order, and apparently the pre-order is going to take somewhere between 4 to 12 weeks, which, by the way, massive window. We're talking about a month versus 3 months, but there you go. I know the brand because I have bought from them before, and I found them very easy to deal with. I didn't have any negative experiences, but I am a sample size of 1, so take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. I know they did a collab collaboration with Smink Baruenda. I want to say about maybe 2 years ago, and that was lovely. It was fabulous. This is going to retail for $50. It has 2 holochromes, 1 multichrome, 2 metallic, 1 duochrome, and 6 mattes. It's vegan and cruelty-free, and by the way, the artwork was done by Lonely Shooting Star over on Instagram. I think this is quite nice. Do I need this? Absolutely not. This is giving me Glamlight vibes. And I say that with love because, like, you know, Glamlight, when they were at their height, like, everyone was like, oh my god. There's definitely aspects of this that reminds me of some of the Glamlight horror palettes. I think it's really nice. I love that shade. Is it Supernatural? Yeah, that is beautiful. That is looking really, really nice. The swatches look super impressive. Like that kind of grey toned lilac, that is very, very difficult to get and have it not be ashy, but they have made it look beautiful. Do you see what I mean though when I'm talking about it being a little bit Glamlight-esque? Because like, I mean, there's the red and the navies, and I just keep thinking of the Freddy Krueger palette from Glamlight. It's not bad, like $50 for a 12-pan palette. I don't think it's bad. My issue, however, is with pre-orders. I don't love pre-orders. I'm kind of like, could you just have them and then sell them? Like, don't ask for our money before that. Like, I just, pre-orders irk me more than I think they probably rationally and reasonably should. But that's my cross to bear. Like I said, I have stuff from them, 1 palette from them, and I like it. I liked the quality. So on that alone, I don't think it's a bad one, but I'm not going to rush off and get it because as far as I remember, they're a US-based brand. And, well, I mean, we've been tariffed here too, so yeah, just for now it wouldn't be for me. It is what it is. This is a slightly older one. This came out while I was away. Was it when I was in Belgium? Was it when I was at NCI? Who knows? This is Bella Beaute Bar, and this is their Green Goddess collection. There's quite a few things in it, but they don't seem to have bundled anything. There's the Green Goddess Magnetic Palette for $72, the Green Goddess Magnetic Highlighter for $25, the Venus Euphoric Hollow Liquid Eyeshadow for $20, the Green Wizard Multichrome Loose Pigment, $17. They have the Multichrome Lip Dewy Gloss, which comes in 3 shades, Green Goddess, Funhouse, and Carnival. They're $22 each. And then there's 4 multichrome pressed pigments, and they come in the shades Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water, and they are $15 each, so it's quite a few things. Let's talk about that palette. Oh my god. How dare you, Bella Beaute Bar? How dare you? I'm trying to be a rational, smart human being, and then you come in here with your green toned deliciousness and make me do a double take. How dare you? I will say the amount of double takes that I do when it comes to Bella Beaute Bar is unreasonable. Like, it is ridiculous, and I have a few things from them, not that many things, but a few things, which I feel just shows that I'm becoming a stronger person. So well done me. This is beautiful. Now, what I find really interesting about this is there's a shade in there and it's called Tranquil, and it looks to be a very minty green, but it doesn't look like you're getting a massive amount of bang for that. It's a little bit more transparent than I would like. I would like that to have a lot more pigmentation. I feel like I have a few palettes already that have a similar shade that I can get a little bit more bang from, which is great. This is me talking myself out of things. However, I do feel like some of the more special shades, so things like Earth Mother, oh my god, what even is that? That looks beautiful. That is stunning. And then Rebirth. Talk me out of this, guys. Talk me out of this, because I know, realistically, I know I don't need this. Here's where I'm going to talk myself out of it. That red shade, it looks beautiful, looks fantastic, but realistically, I never use red on my eyes. I don't. It looks weird and not in a cool, haunting sort of a way. It just looks like I've suffered some sort of a traumatic event, and I don't look good with red eyeshadow. I can't make it work for me. So anytime that there's a red eyeshadow in something, it kind of makes me pause. And because this is a little bit more expensive, I'm like, okay, Teresa, we can take a little bit of a step back, but otherwise it is beautiful. Then they have that green highlighter, oh mama, right? They have it swatched out, so it's like really wham on, but it does look like you can obviously like buff it out and make it a little bit more transparent. Oh, sweet merciful Zeus. This is beautiful, right? I think that, and even the packaging on this. I have a lot of feelings on that. And it is making direct eye contact with me, but no, I will not get you. I don't need you. It does look absolutely gorgeous. Now, the fabulous Deandra Nicole had also done some swatches and she showed how it can fade out, so I really appreciate that. It looks stunning, stunning. And I'm the sort of person who's like, F it, a green highlighter, oh, why not? And it's not wildly expensive. Like, I thought it was going to be more, like $25, which, yeah, it is pricey for a singular highlighter, but it was maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was talking about the NYX Buttermelt highlighters and they had a green one, and I want to say that was about $14, $15. And by the time that it would come over here, it'd be about the same price. But you know what? I think this one looks better because it isn't calling up the same amount of texture. Now, I'm going to say exactly what I said earlier about the blushes. I want to see this on the face. I need to see this on the face. Is it going to capture a whole bunch of texture? Because that's very important for me, because I couldn't see that on the website, but it has some potential. This next one then, the Hollow Liquid. Oh my goodness, I love the look of it on the eye. It's so interesting and textured. Now, I will say I have hooded eyes. I know, it's for my sins. So I worry a little bit about things like that because it just shows off the texture, and I wonder how it would wear all day. I just find liquid shadows can be a bit hit or miss with me. Either they're amazing or they are trash. There is no in between for me. It might be the way that I'm putting things on. I never claimed to be an expert, but there it looks beautiful, and I can see how that links in with the collection overall. I appreciate that it's separate because obviously it's not going to work out for everyone. The picture of it on the finger, showing all the sparkles. How dare you? How dare you come at me with my magpie-ness? And then that multi-chrome dust, pigment dust. Yeah, yes, that's what I've decided to call them now. Pigment dust. That, delicious. So obviously Deandra has swatched it. Cine Review has also swatched it over on the left hand side. Now obviously take all of these things with like pinches of salt, because photographers will slightly manipulate pictures just to try to capture it as best as possible. So yeah, look, you guys know, you're no fools. It does look beautiful. Like, even seeing it on the brush, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. However, it reminds me of a few things that, oh my god, Revamped Cosmetics came out with not that long ago. So I feel like if you have that, you probably don't need that. I also have terrible object permanence, and whenever I buy loose pigments, I forget about them. Pigment dust. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense for me. The lip glosses, oh my goodness. There's not that many brands that do multi-chrome lip glosses. Probably the biggest one that I can think of is Glisten Cosmetics, and I really enjoy those. But these are looking beautiful. Like, there's 3 shades. I'm gonna go through each of those. So this first one, I do appreciate that they've shown it just bare on the lips in some models, and then for some, they've put on a black base, which is exactly what I want to know about in certain instances, because obviously if you put a black base versus a white base versus clear base, it's going to change things. Oh, that is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. I don't think they necessarily needed the 3 though, because there's 2 here that looks very, very similar, and they're very green toned, and by the time they're on the lip, you kind of can't see the difference quite as much. It's still beautiful, but you know, the last shade though, I think that's the most different out of the other 2. So like I said, I think that middle shade could have been NYX, but that's absolutely stunning as well, and quite a nice juxtaposition against the green, so I think that's really pretty. Then the final one is obviously the 4 multi-chrome shades. They're probably the cheapest offering out of the whole collection. Do I think these were necessary? They're all right. You know, this is one of those things that I think they could have probably been without. Like the shade Earth, if you had released this maybe 10 years ago, yes, I think we'd have all collectively been like, no, delicious. But I look at this now and I'm like, you know what, that's fairly bog standard. I'm all right, I don't need this. Then the shade Wind, do you know what, I quite like that, but more as like a highlighter type thing, because apparently that's where I am with my life. I don't feel myself doing a double take over that one per se. I do like the shade Fire though, and I quite like that it's that green to orange. That being said, that's a very, very common multi-chrome, so don't go off buying it, you probably have it. And then finally Water. I mean, again, another one of the very common multi-chromes that we've had over the years. It's that blue to purple to green. It's grand, it's a very peacocky shade. Here's my thoughts on the collection. I think it's really beautiful, but I don't think everything was needed. I think in particular those 4 multi-chrome singles, although they're lovely, they didn't need to be part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't necessary. It feels like they kind of wanted to put that into the palette, but it didn't quite fit, and then we're like, fuck it, we'll just put it out and people can get it. I don't think it's as impactful as the shades from the palette. Do you know what I mean? Because if you were to get all 4 of those, That's like $60 versus the palette for $72. So come on now, lads. Let's be smart. I don't think all three of the lip glosses were necessary. I think two would have been fine. That Hollow Liquid shadow I think is really interesting, but I want to see it on more diverse eye types, right? I want to see this on more hooded eyelids. I want to see this with aged eyelids, etc. And it's not me dissing the model, actually, obviously beautiful, etc. But their eyelids are so smooth. And mine are not. So I want to know what the story is. I'd like to just see how it wears. But the palette is gorgeous. You know what? And this is the thing. If it didn't have that red in it, I think I would be in trouble. I think I would be like, oh yeah, give it to me. But I'm genuinely, I'm making big efforts these days, lads. And I swear to God, if somebody doesn't recognize I'm trying to be better. I'm a disaster as a person, but like, yeah, I will say that collection, I did look at it a couple of times and kind of, oh, you're beautiful, I love you. But I've stayed away from it. So frankly, well done me. Then we have e.l.f. Cosmetics, who obviously know that my skin is terrible at the moment. This is their new Please Clarify facial oil, which by the way, it's like most of my sentences in any social interaction of please clarify, I'm confused, I don't know what's happening. This is available now and you can get it over on their app, blah, blah, blah. Didn't even know they have an app, but apparently they have an app. There you go. So there's 2% salicylic acid, which is meant to clarify pores. I mean, I could do with that right now. There's also aloe extract to soothe and calm the skin, and there's licorice derivative to help even out skin tone, and it's $16. Do you know what? I like the idea of this. Look, I like skincare, I do, because I have so many skincare concerns. Acne runs in my biofam, and it seems the genes have been slowly catching up with me. So I would be quite interested in this. So yeah, like I would use salicylic acid relatively frequently. At the moment I'm on benzoyl peroxide and I have an antibiotic. Don't be too jealous, because my skin is trying to leave my body, I assume. It's a disaster. I appreciate the fact that they've given before and afters, or as they call them, before and elfters, which is just a terrible pun, but I appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, it's very realistic in terms of the way that they're presenting things, so I don't hate it, and I feel like the price point isn't bad at all. $16, yeah. By the time it gets over here, it'll be like €20, which is like, don't know if I'll necessarily get it then. But you know what? I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think it's pretty good. Well done, e.l.f. And this feels like we're stepping backwards in time, not just because the Balm does like a vintage-esque sort of thing, but because I'm kind of surprised that the Balm is still a thing, but there you go. This is their Swinging Singles Powder Blush, and there's 3 shades, and they're available now for €10.75, but they're typically going to be $21.50, which I'm like, you're releasing them at half price? What's going on? So there's 3 shades: Anita Mauve, I Am a Hot Pink, and Ivana Sunkiss. What do I say about that? I don't even know. I guess this will come sometime to your local TK Maxx, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, whatever it is. It's infused with Carna Uba wax, which I'm not even sure if I've said that correctly, but there you go. And these blushes keep your blushing game as strong as your flirting game. Presumptuous of you to think that I have any sort of a flirting game, but there you go. It's kitschy. I think the $10 is kind of a correct price for this. I will say, like, they've shown it on the face, which I appreciate. Thank you guys. Well done. The Anita Mauve does not look very mauve on the face. Like, it looks more orangey, or is that just me? Have I lost my mind? Have I lost my mind? It doesn't look very mauve, which I'm kind of surprised about, frankly. Then the I'm a Hot Pink. Like, they didn't really try with the names, did they? Do you remember when they used to try like 6 years ago or something like that? It does actually look like a hot pink, fair enough. I'm not sure. I wish they had more models to show it on, but they only had like 1 model per shade, which was a bit like, okay, cool, helpful. And then the Ivana Sunkiss, I mean, that looks kind of similar on the face as does the mauve one, which wild to me. I don't understand how that happens. Would I pay $21.50 for each of those? Absolutely not. I haven't lost my mind. But I feel like $10.75 isn't bad for a blush. Like, it isn't bad. Realistically though, I can't see this selling well, and I'm honestly surprised that the Balm is still a thing. I never hear it talked about, ever. Seriously, lads, when is the last time you heard anyone talk about the Balm? I cannot, and I'm not even like chronically online these days because I'm so busy with 5 million different jobs, but I never hear anybody talk about them or being like, this is my, do people do Holy Grails anymore? I do, I have things I love, but I remember there was like a bronzer of theirs, Oscar, that was like a really big thing like 6, 7 years ago. Oh my god, I'm really showing my age. But I just cannot think, and the Mary Lou Luminizer, the highlighter, but I can't think of anything else that they've done that is like, wow. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of sad, but honestly, awful to say, kind of surprised they're still around because they don't feel wildly relevant. Ooh, but yeah, that's just my opinion. We then have Fenty, because Fenty, it seems, tries to do something every week, which I don't know about you, but I get a bit overwhelmed. This is their Shadowstix, but it's their Shadowstix Diamond, because they have their Shadowstix already, which are like mattes and shimmers, etc. But the Shadowstix Diamond Veil is different, because it's limited edition, and it's €30 for 10 millilitres of product. And these are essentially shimmer shades. Now they say this is going to resist creasing, fading, sweat and heat. You know, all these things that you want to have in something like that. There's 3 shades, Miss Prissy, Champion and How Many Carats. How many times are they going to use the how many carats thing? Because like it's been done several times. The shades are fairly grand, fairly pedestrian, very safe. She's doing a lot of purples these days. I'm not against it. I quite like it personally, but it does feel a bit like, we're running out of ideas, guys. How long has it been since she did an eyeshadow palette? I want to say maybe 4 years since she did like the little snap palettes, and they were not great. I really want to see her try those again, like as in try eyeshadows again and get the formula right. So the How Many Carats, even the way that they've presented that, they've presented it along with a black shadow stick in Cause I'm Black. I couldn't find it on the eye by itself. It's grand. It looks very millennial, like proper, like, you know, 2000 Reese Witherspoon is at some premiere of whatever it is. Like that's what it looks like. I don't know if I would personally pay €30 for that. You know, if you want to, delighted for you. Miss Prissy, again, and I don't have anything against the 2000s. I was a teenager in the 2000s. Granted, being a teenager, I would never do that again, but you know, there's the nostalgia, but I'm not gone on it, you know? And maybe it's just, I feel like Fenty in general aren't doing enough to innovate these days, and I get a bit like frustrated with them. Maybe I'm just taking all of my frustration out on a product that really doesn't need it. I don't know. And Champion, grand, I guess. Also, why is there like an apostrophe in the middle? Champion, like ion? Is it ionized? Like, what are we doing chemistry experiments with cream shadow sticks? I don't know. I just feel like for what you're getting for €30, and granted, everything's getting more expensive because, you know, we're in end state capitalism. It just feels a bit like, And I'm an idiot. I'll buy shit that I shouldn't for prices that I shouldn't. But even I'm sitting here being like, come on now. This seems a bit much. I don't know. Like, I want her to do well and I want to see her succeed. But it's been a while since I've seen something from Fenty that I've been like, yeah. That's the thing. Bring more of that to me. It's not interesting to me. But we then, of course, have SHEGLAM. SHEGLAM have continued to make things, even in my 3 weeks away. This is their new Buttery Bliss blush stick, because now everything is in sticks. And they have 7 shades. They're $5.99 each. They claim to be hydrating, radiant, and perfect for quick touch-up. So, you know, I guess in the apocalypse, we need to have things in our purse for the quick touch-ups. There's Guava Juice, which is a cool baby pink. Love Cake, which is an original shade, but now obviously in this stick format. It's a bright medium pink. Painted Peony, a pink mauve. Hush Hush, a nude pink. Rose Ritual, a medium rosy pink. Mulled Wine, a terracotta. And Cherry Pick, a bright cherry red. Now they're trying to say that they've kind of color coded these based upon, you know, light and deep skin tones, going from like warm to cool. Like they've kind of given us like a sort of a grid on that to be like, here, there you go. I mean, it's just another format of their stuff. Like they have their liquid blushes, which have done very well. I don't think this is necessarily a bad idea. idea and the price point isn't bad. Guava Juice, I'm going to start in on that. I think that looks quite nice. It looks really radiant. I feel like I could get away with that sort of a shade because I am very pale. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. It looks grand. I don't hate that. Then we have Hush Hush. That's quite nice. I'd use that more as like a bronzy sort of a shade, but not bad at all. Painted Peony. That's quite nice. Now, I struggle to find that many pictures of it on the face. There's only these ones. So I guess these are meant to be for people who have a fairer skin tone. So, I mean, it is what it is. Love Cake. That looks quite nice. I don't know. It does look kind of similar-ish to Guava Juice. So I don't know if you would necessarily need both. Then Rose Ritual. Again, it looks grand. Oddly enough, on the model up in the top right hand corner, I didn't think it would be quite that pink on them, but shows what I know. Cherry Pick. Now, they did say this was meant to be for deeper skin tones, and yet we don't have any models here with a deeper skin tone, which is very strange to me. And finally, Mulled Wine. Again, this was another one that they had basically said, yeah, this is for deeper skin tones, and yet no models with a deeper skin tone. So look, for the price point, I feel like it's pretty good. SHEGLAM do decent stuff for the price point. Let's be real, everything is going to increase in price, and we've been learning that most cosmetics are made in China anyways. So, I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. Like, the world is burning. So I'm just like, I guess, like, if you like it, go for it. I don't understand why they haven't shown it on a more diverse model set. You know, they have the money to do these things. They've out and out said in their little chart, this is for a deeper skin tone, and yet they're showing it on fair to not even medium, like light medium. I don't understand it. I think I'm just cranky, guys. I'm really cranky. I shouldn't travel. I'm not going to travel. I had a lovely time, don't get me wrong, but I think I'm a cranky person, and I'm just filled with annoyance, essentially. Look, the price point is decent. Things are going to get more expensive. And as much as I said earlier that, like, you don't need makeup, that's me coming from a point of privilege where I'm in a job where nobody gives a shit what I look like. But I mean, I was sitting in the airport in Brussels just a few days ago. I saw these beautiful air stewards walking past, full glam, etc. And I was just thinking, God, you know, they have to do that every single day. Like, they have to put on a full face. And, like, you know, people's wages aren't increasing in proportion to the cost of living. So things like this is great for people who are expected to come in a full beat, or they're given out to. So, you know, I'm never going to tell somebody, oh, don't buy something or do buy this or whatever, because it's literally none of my business. You do what you want to do. I'll stay in my lane. Like, let's just, like, leave it at that. I just don't understand why they're not showing it on more diverse skin tones. Like, if you've out and out said as part of your thing that this is for deeper skin tones, then show us that, you know? It's confusing, is what I'm trying to say. We then have Juvia's Place, and I know I kind of gave out about Fenty Beauty and their cream eyeshadow stick, but part of that was the price, and also like, it didn't look amazing. It's not that it looks amazing, but I can see that there's a place for it. These are their Nubian eyeshadow sticks. They're 8 shades, but more importantly, they're €12.95, so quite a difference. So there's 4 matte shades: Jezebel, which is, by the way, an amazing name, Morocco, Nile, and Egypt, and then there's 4 shimmer shades: Sheba, Carlotta, Kemet, and Casablanca. Now, in sheer Juvia's Place fashion, they don't have any proper swatches. I actually found swatches over on Instagram, and this is part of what's actually interesting to me, because I'm not really looking at these as cream eyeshadows, but as a really interesting base, right? That shade Nile, do you see that shade Egypt? It's like quite a pale sort of a base. I feel like that could make a really good eyeshadow primer. So that's part of what kind of I'm interested in. Now, I'm a little bit like, those last 4 shades, I can see that with Kemet and Casablanca, I can see the shimmer there, but not so much with Carlotta and Sheba, which I'm kind of like, But again, they don't even have it on the eye or swatched out, so again, in, a little bit confused here. They say it's perfect for beginners and pros, which, you know, do you know what? Yeah, I would agree with that. Normally, Juvia's plates are actually pretty good quality. They've gone through their own dramas and blah, blah, blah. So they go up, they go down in terms of popularity. But I feel like this is a pretty solid one. You know, I'd like to try this. They're harder to get these days. But I would like to try this as an eyeshadow base. I don't think it's a bad one at all. They also claim that it's waterproof, smudge proof, and crease resistant. You know what it is that I'm going to say. If you have all of these claims, effing show me. Show me what this looks like on the eyelid, and particularly on somebody who has creasy eyelids. Use me, which is not really a phrase I say that often, but do use me. Use me as the model for this. I would be so amazing is all I can say. I think the price point is about right for what we're looking at here. I can see the utility of that, and generally Juvia's place actually pretty darn good. We then have Victoria Beckham. Yeah, and there's some new face brushes and eye brushes, etc. Now, they already have some brushes in their repertoire, but these are some new ones, and you can get them in different bundles, etc. Like there's a make your own bundle, and then there's like a bundle of face brushes, etc. But I'm gonna kind of talk through a few of these. There's the Conceal and Detail brush for $42, the Buffer brush for $60, the Sculpt and Blend brush for $62, the Fan brush for $42, the Powder brush for $60, Soft Blend brush for $42, the Buff and Smudge brush for $42, Define and Line brush for $36, and the Detailed Lip brush for $32. Which, I mean, it's really expensive, right? Because they say these are specialized synthetic bristles. So I was kind of thinking, okay, the price point is kind not that far off of the likes of Wayne Goss, but Wayne Goss uses, you know, goat hair, etc., which is part of why the price is as high as it is, but it does give you a particular finish. So I was kind of surprised to see that these are synthetic but have such a high price point. What I was interested in here was actually the handles, which I know is really effing stupid, but I was like, oh, is this made to kind of almost prompt you to hold the brush at the correct point, which I actually think is quite smart. But in saying that, with some of these brushes, I feel like the point at which you would rest your index finger should be lower down. So I'm kind of like, huh. My other thing is that there are duo brushes. I know that some people are totally fine with duo brushes, and if you're that person, I'm delighted for you. I'm just not one of those. I don't know how to store them. I don't know how to deal with them. Oh, I know how to store them. I've said this before, but it's not viable for me, and it slightly drives me insane. I get that she's, you know, the luxury brand, etc., and I have eyeliners from her, which I do actually quite like. I don't hate them, but I kind of feel like this price point is a bit like, if you're looking for some spendy synthetic brushes that will wear very well, might I point out that my kit coexists. They are fantastic. Fantastic. So I'm not so sure about this. I feel like it's a bit wishy-washy. Not for me. To be fair, I did think it was going to cost a bit more, but it's still, in my mind, unjustifiably high for what it is. Give Me Glow Cosmetics have also then indicated that they're coming out with some cream blushes, which I do like the look of. Right? They also have matching tapered DC1 cream brushes to go with it, and apparently if you order 2 or more of the blushes, they'll put in a free brush for you, which, fair enough. The brush colour will be chosen based off of the compacts that you choose, so apparently there's going to be different handles. I mean, whatever, we're not here for the brush. We're talking about the blushes here, and so far they've shown us 4 pinks. And the instant thing that I thought of was Barbie, and there's literally a shade that's called It's Giving Barbie, and it's the perfect Barbie pink. And you know what? I actually quite like the look of this. It's launching May 9th, so we're getting a lot of advanced warning, or is it just me? They're $22 each, which doesn't seem too bad. I mean, I want to know how much product you're getting in that, but that, to be fair, doesn't seem too bad. It's ultra creamy and ultra pigmented, which I wouldn't be that surprised about because Give Me Glow would be known for that sort of thing. They're vegan and cruelty free. They're unscented. Oh, interesting to me. And an airbrush matte finish. Yeah, I'm interested in this. I feel like Give Me Glow have kind of been ramping up over the last year, so there's been a lot of rebranding, and sometimes that can go a bit for a brand, particularly when they're established, but I feel like this is actually going pretty darn well for them. Now, they have said these are the pinks, implying that there's going to be other colours. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time we're finished with this, there's like maybe 12 shades, maybe some pinks, maybe some oranges, and maybe some more, she said with fingers crossed, neutral tones. That could be really, really interesting. Look, I'm going to reserve judgment, but I don't hate the sound of this. We're now on to some sneak peeks because we're near the end. This is shown over on Trend Mood, and this is the Ice Out Moondust palette. And I have to say, I know, you're probably like, Teresa, how is this interesting? You know what? It's interesting to me. I like the look of this, and I do think that Moondust is probably one of their better products, particularly when it comes to eyeshadows. It's been a while since they've done some good eyeshadows, and I like the look of this. This is 2000s in the best way. They are meant to be iridescent toppers, like they're not meant to be take your eye out. I like the look of this. So there's 4 shades in this: Ice Slick, Chilled Out, Bling Bling, and Moonspoon. So, or Moonspoon? I don't know. I'm gonna pronounce it as Moonspoon because I think every moon should have a spoon. Or maybe we should spoon the moon. I don't know. I did actually take a 2-hour break there to go and have my car NCT'd, so I'm a little bit out of it. Anyways, I like the look of this. It's going to be too much money, and what I'm going to do is wait and see if I can get it for a discount over on Boots or something like that. But you know what? I don't hate it. This is, again, for people who just want like a little dash of something. This is not going to be for people who are looking for like dramatic, etc. makeup. This is going to be your day walker stuff. And again, there's always a place for that sort of stuff. But if it isn't for you, steer clear of it. You don't need it, my gorgeous friend. Then finally, we have another celebrity brand. Of course we do, because we had a real dearth of those at this point, and I was starting to get a bit worried. And I'm going to worry about how to pronounce this. It's spelled S-Z-A, but I believe her stage name is pronounced as Caesar, so bear with me. This is not Beaute, because apparently she teased this during the Super Bowl. Now, that's an American phenomenon and I am Irish, so I don't know much about this, but apparently she said, I'm not a beauty maven, but I know lips, at that. And I'm taking this from Trend Mood, literally just reading it out. And this first drop will have lip glosses, groundbreaking, in 3 shades: Flesh, Strawberry, and Jam, which, you know what, that sounds grand. I mean, I'm going to reserve judgment. It looks okay. The packaging is somehow giving me, do you remember when Brad Pitt came out with his like ridiculously expensive skincare, which we were all like, we all know you're getting work done, Mr. Pitt. No issue there. Like, that's fine, but like, come on now. What you doing? It reminds me a little bit of that. Like, there's that woody feel, but also, oh God, what's the name of the brand that you're one? Is it Cali by Cali? And it used to be the one who owned Urban Decay. It's giving that sort of vibe. I don't know. It's going to depend as to the price point. That being said, though, I don't need an effing lip gloss. Like, I'm fine. Like, when will I have a brand? When will I have a brand? Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, it's just one more celebrity brand. I'm sure it'll do okay. But the market is pretty saturated at this point. Or maybe it's just me and I'm being a bit whatever because it's like almost midnight. Anyways, my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I know we had to get through like 3 weeks worth of nonsense, and let's be real, it was emphasis on the nonsense. There wasn't a lot of like interesting things, which a lot of us are doing, like no buys or low buys. So isn't that fantastic for us? We get to save some money. Ooh, I mean, I'm putting it all into like my house and just I'm nesting. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm not spending it on makeup, so I'll just go and buy fucking furniture for cats, apparently is what I'm doing. Anyways, I do have my favourite comment, and this is from the lovely Steffi's Happy Madness. Thank you so much. She said, gonna miss your sweet face for the next 2 weeks. Well, I'm just like herpes. I come back. You can't ever truly get rid of me. There is no cure. I'm so very sorry. Thank you so much for bearing with. I am still, I think, a little bit loopy from just not having any work breaks over the last while. And I still have like a bunch of things to do, but it's starting to slow down. I'm very tired, but thank you so much for bearing with me and all the nonsense that comes with it. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. I haven't filmed a swatching Sunday simply because I only came back from Belgium the other day. I don't know what's happening. I will get to it eventually. There'll be one next week, I promise, but not this week, because honestly, I need to disassociate and I just need to stare at a wall for like an hour or two and just try to figure out what it is that I'm doing with my life. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. I'm gonna feck off now because my fringe is driving me insane and I've sat through this video thinking I need to fucking cut it. So that is what I'm going to do. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell because it is polite. And do please share because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs because I'm herpes. Just wrap it up. Don't be gross, but I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.